Oh, hello. You look very comfortable. I'm so sorry. Did I encroach on your sleeping space? Or have you decided to join me? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I skipped a week. I know I did. I thought about just doing this video last week. I just had so much going on. I pushed it to Monday and I was like, oh, I'll film it Monday or Tuesday and release it Tuesday. But then Wednesday came around and I still didn't have the time to film it, and I was just like, at that point it was midweek, I might as well just, I'd like to stay on the same schedule of like releasing on Sundays or Mondays. So it didn't happen. I'm kind of kicking myself because I swore that I would be consistent, but I had a lot going on. I had to get 2 MRIs done, a bunch of doctor's appointments, and life happened, okay? But I'm back this week. I don't have anything crazy that's going to be happening in this video. I just wanted to do another little bit of an update on the move because since my last video we have a war now going on in the Middle East, which affects petrol prices. It affects, I mean, obviously I'm moving to Europe, but I am shipping my stuff via ship to Europe, so that affects like pricing. I also don't have a specific date for the nerve implant thing that they're going to put in, but I did get officially approved for that. They're supposed to be putting it in, I think, at the beginning of April, so that's a positive. I got my full body spine MRI back, and that brought up some really interesting things, which like is kind of frustrating because it's not like a surefire answer to my head pain issues, but they did find a strength in my thoracic spine, which could be affecting my cervical spinal fluid flow, which is what my original hypothesis was when all of this happened, because I just had like almost every single key symptom of really high spinal fluid pressure. So I need to like re-chat with my neurologist about what's going on there. Usually you would have like issues if you had a Chiari malformation in your like cervical spine. Mine is in my thoracic, so a lot of people I think might write that off, but it doesn't negate the fact that that could be contributing to all of my issues, because originally all of my pain and constant head pain and migraines started when I had a really bad medication reaction on an international flight and I was puking for the whole 8-hour flight on the bathroom floor. So that pressure of like straining plus being in an airplane could have blown open the strynx. It's basically like a hole kind of where your cervical fluid runs. So that's definitely some new information that is interesting. It we're kind of teeter-tottering on if I just have really intense nerve sensitization from that event, or if it's cervical spinal fluid that is being dysregulated or the pressure is too high. So we're kind of weighing in between those two options. No medication still as of yet has done anything for the head pain, minus Valium. So like benzos are kind of the only thing that can mitigate that pain, which makes it make a little more sense that it would be my spinal fluid pressure being dysregulated. But I'm gonna get the nerve plant in for my pelvic floor pain, and hopefully like with that out of the way we can focus more on like the head stuff. But it's gonna be a bit tricky because I think maybe for a while I'm gonna be in between treatment here in the States and in Denmark until I can get set up there. So it's a little frustrating because like I need to move as soon as possible. I'm just trying to still balance out like all my medical stuff, and it's getting to the point to where I don't want to keep putting off the move because I don't want to move during the summer when everything's even more expensive and I can't move the dogs. I'm not going to be shipping Raider in an airplane in peak summer heat. I just don't want to have to do that again. So I want to try to have a definite move date by, people are riding motorcycles outside. I want to have a definite move date by May for sure. April's kind of out because I have way too much going on. But my sister, my older sister, and my little brother are visiting for Easter. So that will be really great at the beginning of April. And hopefully I can get kind of more medical stuff knocked out leading up to that. All of my stuff that's in the UK, I still have a storage locker of pretty much most of my possessions that I had in the UK. All my clothing, my entire wardrobe, that is still in Guildford in Surrey. So I'm hoping Alex can get that next week and move it to Denmark, so at least like I won't be paying that outrageous storage bill. And then we can get kind of a more set date. We're just trying to get quotes right now from shipping companies from California to Denmark, because quotes kind of have changed a bit because of the geopolitical sphere that we are in. But yeah, anyways, that is the update on kind of what's going on. I'm now on what, week 2 of the Botox. I think it is helping some with the migraines, but the only thing that's frustrating is because it's relaxed my forehead and I'm such an expressive person, it now always just kind of feels like I have squinty eyes, if that makes sense. Like it always feels like I'm like this and I'm trying to open them, and it puts a lot of strain on just feeling like my eyes aren't open all the way. So I do like the fact that it evened out my face and it is helping a bit with the migraines, but I will continue to get it because I want to at least get to like the 3rd time to see if it really kicks in. But I just don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do Botox on their whole entire face. That would just be this is how I wish. I just need to put like that tape, you know, that skin tape that like lifts your eyelids up like that. That would be great. I don't know how people get Botox in the whole of their face. That would be so annoying. I'm just too expressive to not be able to move my face. That would be absolutely horrific. I'm tolerating it now on my forehead, but people that get it just here and here and here, no. That will not be me. I am vain to a point. I care what I look like, but that will not be me. Not happening. I'd rather get like a surgical facelift than do that. I'm still slowly but surely trying to pack as well and kind of pinpoint everything that I'm taking. I've been going through a lot of like my grandmother's stuff and things that I would like eventually inherit from my parents, like antique furniture, things like that. I have to make the decision right now though if I want it or not, because this is kind of like my one chance of shipping everything over. I don't want to pay for or do that again with large items. So I'm trying to kind of go through and say, okay, like I'll eventually want this and inherit this, so I kind of have to take it now. And also we were going to be renting this gorgeous house from a business partner of Alex's, but just there's been a lot of drama going on and we just don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. I just think it would end up causing, who knows how it would end. It was the most beautiful house with the most insane view, a ton of space, but for now we're just gonna do something a little more temporary, which is gonna be smaller because there are hardly any options in Aalborg, which is where we'll be living, because we were going to be living in Aarhus. We don't have very many. There are not very many properties on the rental market right now. There were last year, but not this year. So we're going to be moving into something a lot smaller than what we thought. So I might still have to like have my stuff in storage in Denmark, but at least like I'll have all my clothes and all the stuff, you know. It'll probably just be for the first year and then we'll figure out where we actually want to live. So there is a small chance that we could move back to the UK. I don't think that will happen until maybe in a few years, but as much as I love like schooling and education and the idea of raising kids in Denmark, I miss the UK so much. That's where my heart belongs. It's where all my friends are. It's where I just feel the most at home. And I think eventually if we could like end up there part-time or just end up there, that would be great, and I would really love that a lot. So who knows what will happen? Everything's up in the air. But like I've kind of lived life on the fly. I've moved so many times. I'm not like, you know, someone who's set in stone. Like I kind of go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. I like to have a plan, but I'm not like set in stone or like this is how it has to be, this is where we have to live. I've also noticed in my last YouTube video I could severely tell that I had Botox in my forehead compared to like my other videos because I can't move my eyebrows. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I definitely can, and I don't know, I miss being able to move my forehead. I miss being expressive. I'm just a bit of a weirdo, so I don't know, I miss it. I've been rambling for far too long though, so this is mostly about me trying to be consistent because that is my downfall of YouTube, is not being consistent. I wanted to show you, so my dad went to Arizona to help out with his half brother because he had had a stroke and he was helping kind of go through all his things and put stuff in storage. And he was given a couple like insane antique things, one of which being, so this is a recipe holder. It's over 100 years old, from the 1800s. It's my dad's step-grandfather's, or it was my dad's step-grandfather's. He was this really well-known chef, and it has like all his favorite recipes. Let's see, the cake ones. The cake had a ton of ones that he had saved, some of which were like his own handwritten ones. Like, look how beautiful that handwriting is. Oh my gosh. I'm absolutely obsessed. I spent 3 hours last night cleaning it and laminating all the labels because they were falling off, and I just wanted to preserve it because it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I had this idea that I thought would be really cool because I was looking through so many of the recipes and they're all like very old school traditional cooking with no weird oils or additives, you know, it's all just butter, lard, flour, eggs, and I would love to just go through them and once a week cook or bake something from the recipes. He was English, so there's a ton of like pudding recipes in there and I am just dying to try them. I'm a big baker, but I've really honestly, my appetite is so bad lately. I don't know, from like my medication, but I just don't feel, I kind of lost my love for like baking and cooking because I just never am in the mood to, or don't have an appetite. But when I saw this recipe holder, I like almost died. I absolutely became obsessed and I went through every one, and I'm just so inspired to cook from those recipes and to kind of just re-find a love for nothing crazy or fancy, just old school basic cooking, you know, nothing from a box, everything from scratch. And I'm not gonna make like my entire Instagram or YouTube a cooking Instagram or YouTube because I like cooking for fun. I don't want it to turn into a job, but I wonder if that would be like a really fun series to do where I do like a different video either on my Instagram or TikTok, maybe on YouTube, but I don't know if you guys want my YouTube to turn into a cooking YouTube, but where like once a week I take out a recipe and I cook something from it and I show it and I film it. Let me know if that's something you guys would want to see because I just want to fall in love with cooking again. I want to fall in love with baking, and I just think it's like a mystery treasure trove going through all of these and like picking something that someone cooked 120 years ago, and it just stuff like that instills so much joy into me. So anything that has history, family history, something that has a story, it's just cherish that. I just feel like a lot of us millennials, we liked modernism and clean surfaces and marble, and even I felt myself straying towards that over the past couple of years because I think if you grew up in chaos, you kind of strive to want to be in like a clean, non-chaotic environment. But when I was younger, I just had my entire room that looked like it was from the 1700s. And I've always loved antiques, and I've definitely straying back more towards solid wood furniture and my Ralph Lauren style that I've loved since I was a kid. I just wanted to share that with you, and also an update on my garden, my semi-garden. So these, I don't know if you remember, were my rose cuttings. They're about a year old now from my mother's garden. I just replanted them into bigger pots. They're yellowing a bit, so I don't know if they got a bit stressed having moved. These ones are the newer ones that are maybe around 6 to 7 months old. I don't know if I will repot those yet because I'm a little concerned that these got a bit yellow, but I'm hoping that they'll do okay because I originally made them as gifts, one for my brother and one for my sister, so they could take some of our mother's roses with them in their own garden. Herb garden's always going strong. I helped my mom finally we filled this planter with compost and I stacked it up because she's been trying to do this for like 5 years and no one ever helped her put it together. So I finally was just like, Mom, we need to do this. It's spring, we're gonna run out of time to plant stuff. So I made her go to Home Depot, and for the last few weeks we've been kind of putting her little garden together so she can plant some things. We have 2 tomato plants. This is bell peppers, and then this was golden zucchini. I'm gonna just put a bit of this shade cloth over because it's gonna be scorching today. It's so crazy because like a week ago it was 32 degrees or like below, almost below freezing, so like almost 0 degrees Celsius. Freezing, crazy storm, crazy winds. And then now in a few days it's gonna be 90 degrees, like 33 degrees centigrade. Absolutely insane. The poor plants, they all thought it was spring because it was warm. Then we had this crazy cold snap, and then now we're gonna have this insane warm weather for a couple days, and I hope nothing dies. We did also just plant this blueberry bush, which surprisingly they say does really well here in Joshua Tree, as long as it has good soil. We have like a really nice acidic peat moss soil in there, so I'm hoping it does okay. Then we have these absolutely gorgeous ranunculus. They're probably one of the prettiest things I've ever seen in my life. They're one of my favorite flowers. And then our snapdragons are going strong. Ooh, I love these. And then we have one more pot of ranunculus because they were just too pretty to say no to. My mom's little fairy garden, I love that. But yeah, so that's the update on my life. Sorry, it's a bit of a rambling mixed with eclectic antiques and gardening. I don't really know what this video was supposed to be. I don't have time to make it like a full vlog because I wasn't filming this week. I know I should have, but I'm just trying to stay consistent, putting out 1 video a week. We're gonna pretend I didn't miss last week's, okay? That's just gonna be like a secret between you and me. But again, thank you so much for those of you that do watch. It really means a lot to me. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will see you next week.